know exactly, right down to the little minutia of it, what your purpose is. Put your hands way up high if you know exactly what it is. Great, thank you. How many of you haven't got a friggin' clue? Anybody frustrated trying to find this? Yeah? Put your hands up. Yeah, look around, you're not alone. So this whole thing about trying to find your purpose for most people can be incredibly exhausting. And so I don't teach people on how to find their purpose. I really encourage people to feel on purpose. Can you feel the difference between that? Because you know what, if you're trying to find your purpose, you're probably going to get frustrated. But if whatever you're doing currently in the moment allows you to feel on purpose, then it's going to be a lot more energizing, yes? Yes. All right, so what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to just, somebody next to you, and if there's 3 of you together, that's okay, you can get 3 of you together. I want you to share with your partners, and just go ahead and switch between you. I want you to share one thing, just one thing that you love to do. Just one thing you love to do. If it's sex, it's all good. Doesn't matter to me. Just get together with somebody right now. You don't have to move. Just talk to the person beside you and share one thing you love to do. Okay, good job, good job. Now, the next one is, you're going to get back with your partner, and I want you to share one thing you love to do that there is a benefit for someone else. You could still, I suppose, use sex. But I want you to think of something that you love to do that you can think of that when you're doing that thing that somebody else is getting some kind of benefit from. All right, so go ahead and do that now. Okay, good job. So I would like now to hear some of them. So just put up your hand and share the one that you came up with, that's something you love to do that somebody else benefits from. Yes, talk. Talk, great. Yes.
Angel food cake.
Angel food cake, yummy.
Yoga.
Yoga.
Create.
Pardon me?
Create.
Create, thank you. Who else?
Being on the boat.
Being on the boat. So when you're on the boat, how does somebody else benefit, and who else benefits?
I was doing some bride work in the last little while, and somebody benefited because their boat is going to be very pretty when they come back.
Beautiful, thank you. Who else? Well, you guys
work.
are all talking.
Healing work.
Healing work, very good, thank you. One more.
Volunteering.
Volunteering, thank you. So Aristotle says, where your gifts and a need in the world crosses, therein lies your vocation or your purpose. So where your gift and a need out in the world come together, therein lies your vocation or your purpose. So gifts, your gift, plus a need in the world equals purpose. All right? So we've already decided that focusing on this piece here first, if you do that, it can be frustrating. Yeah, trying to find your purpose. That part can be frustrating. What about needs? If you look out in the world, is it fairly easy to recognize needs out in the world? Does everybody agree? Who agrees with that? That the needs are fairly easy to find? Okay, so this part we got figured out, yeah? Okay, this part we haven't got figured out yet. So if gifts plus needs equals your purpose, then doesn't it make sense to figure out this part here? Because now if we have this figured out, yeah, and we add it to looking at the needs in the world, then it makes sense that now we're going to be able to find this answer, right? So the piece that I really bring to the world is all focused on discovering what your sacred gifts are. And I've been doing this for many, many years, and it really changed my life. in many, many ways. Like Kala was saying, I was working as a nurse. And one of the things that I discovered was my gift was not nursing. As a matter of fact, when I first looked at gifts in a very specific way, and I teach on 24 very specific sacred gifts. And the first time I looked at those gifts categorically and analytically and intellectually, I in fact did not have a gift in compassion. I really didn't. I'm a compassionate person, but I did not have what would be described as a spiritual or sacred gift of compassion. And here I was a nurse. I also do not have, and I'm very clear, I know this with a capital K, I do not have a gift in healing. I am not a healer. I don't have a gift in healing, and yet I was working as a nurse. So the two gifts that somebody might think most commonly with a nurse might be compassion and healing, and I had neither of those, and yet I worked very effectively for 30 years. My gift was teaching. So when I worked in nursing initially, I was on a nursing unit where everything was focused on teaching. I was in a neurological unit, and I was teaching families and patients to deal with newly diagnosed strange and rare neurological disorders, and I did that for many years. So I was totally on purpose. Then somebody said, you should move to the ICU. You should work in intensive care, because that would be a better challenge for you. So for 16 years, it just about sucked the life out of me. How many of you have ever done something that has sucked the life out of you? Wow, look at that. Because, and I didn't know it at the time, I quit nursing after 16 years of being in intensive care because I thought I was burnt out. In fact, all of the patients were in comas, on life support.
Oh my God.
No opportunity to teach at all. All of the environment was equipment and technological stuff, and I do not have a gift in craftsmanship, so figuring out machines and numbers and all that stuff was not my area. So what I loved the most about working in the intensive care was whenever the families came to the bedside, I could just really connect with them. And they'd say, you know, what's going on, and I could use my teaching gift, and I'm a real encourager, so I loved it when the family was at the bedside. I'd be like that. Some of the other nurses who were totally focused on the machines, the technology, that kind of stuff, they didn't think about the family that was out in the waiting room. But they were totally focused on what was needed there. So it was not the right place for me. Not because I wasn't supposed to be a nurse, but because my gift was in teaching. So at night, I would teach health and wellness. And I found a way to still express my gift, even though the job I was doing did not fully express who I am. How many of you are doing a job that does not fully express who you are as a person? Put your hand way up. Yeah. So find another way to feel on purpose. So I taught men. I did, you know, workshops for men about, I called it bowels, balls, and baldness. Hundreds of men would come, and I talk about prostate health and nutrition. So I found a way to still teach something. I mean, as long as I was teaching, I was happy and I felt on purpose. If my focus had been trying to find my purpose, I might have stopped at health and nutrition because at the time I felt on purpose, so I might have thought, well, this is my purpose. I'll just stay here forever. And people do that. They get a purpose and then they ride it until that horse dies, and they still keep trying to ride that sucker. Right? And the horse is dead and the energy is sucked out of them, and they loved the job when they started. And then they've been there 10 years and now they don't like the job anymore. But because they loved it 10 years ago, they stay there, they hang on to it, they're afraid to change, and now they're sucking the life out of everybody around them instead of moving. So if you focus on a thing being your purpose, eventually you may find that it really sucks the life out of you. But if you focus on feeling on purpose, if you do not feel on purpose doing what you currently are doing, you are in the wrong parking space. You need to get out of the parking space and leave it for somebody else who would feel on purpose being there. Does that make sense? So let me tell you a little bit about